Yo, welcome back everybody. So today we are going to be installing the turbo kit on this car. Turbo kit is right here. This is ready to go, and my goal today is pretty much put everything into the car except connecting a charge pipe to the throttle body, because we're still on stock injectors, we're still on stock ECU, and it's going to get tuned in 2 weeks. Then we'll change all of that out. This turbo manifold is a JDM Sport, or it's not even a JDM Sport. This is a different manifold because JDM Sport wastegate is on runner number 1. This one has a real giant flange on it, and the stud on the stock head is not long enough to catch any threads. So what I'm going to do today is, when I put this the turbo in the car today, I want to extract all the studs, and I have longer 12mm bolts that I'm going to use on all 10 or 9 of the studs, however many that I need to bolt that manifold down to the cylinder head. And the feed lines already ran. I got to do some MacGyver type of shit with the return line because it's not AN fitting, it's just a big old barb coming out of the oil pan in the weirdest spot I've ever seen. So I'll show you that when I pop the hood, and then pretty much just, you know, put downpipe, the dump tube. I may do the exhaust. I may try to weld the downpipe end to the cat because the downpipe has nothing at the end of it. So may do that depending on daylight, because I really don't like using my hair as a mop on the floor. But my main concern is the intercooler, because like I've mentioned in the last video, the intercooler is modified backdoor for my CRX, and the CRX is like a snub nose. We don't have that much room between the valve cover and the T-bar. It's modified specifically for the CRX, and on this car the valve cover to the frame is about half times longer than the CRX, so the intercooler is going to be super short, and I am going to have to possibly do some aluminum welding today. So before I get started and all of that, I'm going to make sure I have everything for me to do all of the turbo install and fire the car today without leaving my house. So I know for sure right now I'm probably going to head to Honda to pick up some manual transmission fluid, because that is the only thing I do not have. I got oil, I got coolant, the turbo kit is complete, exhaust, no big deal, everything under the car is done. So other than that, let's go to Honda. Got all the studs extracted except these outer ones, well, except that one. This one is stripped right here. So what I'm doing is, it's not stripped, it broke inside when I got the motor. So I've already drilled it out right there, a good 1/4 inch. And I'm gonna attempt to use the speed out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm gonna extract that bolt to the best of my abilities. If it comes down to it, I'm gonna drill it out, put a time cert, because I have like 2 left, 2 insert. No, actually, I just got my mail, so I got 12 more, and I can time cert it. But I want to keep the 2 outside studs, and then the rest of them as bolts. This is from Hybrid Racing. It's 2 coolant temp sensor, and it's the one that sends signal to the cluster. This is gonna go with the Mishimoto coolant temp adapter that goes between the radiator lines for my brother's K and my car. If you ever notice that my temp is always high, it's because I don't got that. This one right here is from SeerxDood. Used to live out here, but he currently resides in Las Vegas. And all of this are all the clips needed to put my skirts and door cap back onto the CRX, because you can see they are missing. So if you guys are looking for clips for CRXs, I'm not sure if he carries other make and model as far as hatch, wagon and such, be sure to hit up SeerxDood on Instagram. I'll put his description in the link below. I have no idea how to take it out. This guy is like, what's that word I'm looking for? He told me. But he knows how to take them off without breaking any of the clips. And he has a lot of storage bins full of all sorts of clips front to rear of these cars. So if you guys ever broke one or something, be sure to hit him up, let him know I sent you. Again, thank you, Eugene, for all those clips. Hopefully I'll get the CRX looking complete real soon, as soon as I find that bottom skirt. So this came out a lot easier than I was expecting. Rounded it out. Step the size up. Well, there we go. So what I just did was, see how thick this flange is? I cut it in half on the ends because the ends on the head are studs, and then the rest are going to be bolts, and hopefully I have enough room to put bolts in there. Yeah, I think we should be good. So now I'm going to mount this on there and see how the fitment is. Quickly mocked up the downpipe, the dump tube, and the radiator because I wasn't sure how the clearances were, especially with the return line sitting right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's literally just that rod looking thing. But radiator touched a little bit, but I slit the radiator so it'll clear the downpipe. I'm gonna have to cut upward about maybe half an inch more to fully clear the downpipe. But the frame of this car was hit from being too low, and that bottom radiator section like flopped upwards. So I'm not sure, I think the radiator sits a lot taller than it's supposed to, but the hood closes. So I'm gonna leave it as is. It's firm in place, everything else is cleared. So now I'm gonna have to head to Home Depot because the 12 mils that I have for these guys are still too short. They only thread about maybe 2 or 3 turns, and that's not enough to hold this heavy unit in place. So I'm gonna go to Home Depot, maybe get some stainless steel ones a lot longer, like 1.75 or whatever they have, and bolt this manifold in place, get this all situated. I gotta go get some I don't know what you call those, like line holding things, where I'm gonna, you know, bolt this feed line on the cylinder head using these 10 mils. I'll show it to you guys when I find it. So that's gonna be right there, feed line in. Once I get it all buttoned up here, then I am going to take off the bumper and start messing with the intercooler. I'm just looking at it right now. It looks like it may work, given that the charge pipe that I mocked in the CRX was for this car anyway. So however I mocked it up over there should fit here, but my charge pipe goes between the radiator and the frame, and we don't have that much room here. So when we get to the intercooler part, we'll look more into it, but I gotta go to Home Depot right now. So forgot to put all the studs and nuts, Loctite all of these, screw the stud in, and then turbo, no gasket, because that's just gonna burn out anyways. And that could be arguable with a lot of you guys because you guys run the gasket. I've been turboed for over 8 years and I've never ran it in my life. Same goes for the wastegate, but these are all bolted up. I noticed that the return line is this puny little thing right here. So I had my old one right here with a bigger diameter drain, and I'm going to be using this one since that one is JB welded in, and I don't want to break it apart. But let me show you guys the return line. So the return line has Where's my phone at? So the return line is this weird looking thing right here coming out the oil pan, but it was small enough to where I can shove a -6 nylon braid hose on it, and I'm gonna be using this guy, removing the stainless, bolting that up, and then shoving this one into that push lock, and then putting a worm clamp on this, and that should button up the return line. But first, let's get the manifold in place so I can cut that to length. Got that all buttoned up. There's a little peak point right there on the S going to the tube. That's a little bit higher, but you know what? A little bit of pressure will make that flow pretty efficiently. I'm not too worried about it. So I got the bolts from Home Depot, M8 by 125 and 40 millimeter. It's a tad bit too long, so I'm cutting off like a 1/4 inch of it. You can see it right there. They're almost done. I got 3 more to go. Then I'm gonna finish clocking the turbo per intercooler, and then tighten everything down. Okay, so intercooler is perfectly centered, and it's somehow lined up with that T-bar right there. Put a hole through it, put a 10 mil in there. And the bottom, I got it all tabbed up. You can't see it, it's pretty dark. But the intercooler, it ain't going anywhere. Now, the modification I was talking about is right here. So my CRX, like I said, it's a snub nose, so the radius support's a little closer back, and you can see how it's far off, about 1.5 inches. This one right here, I'm gonna have to remake, period. So you can see it used to be a 90 right here, and then the inlet is about, give or take, 4 inches away. So what I'm gonna do is put the cup on here. It's gonna be a 90, and then I'm gonna have to extend this with a 90 on it to go into the cup, so it'll be a U. And this one right here, I am going to cut it about here or so, give or take. And I want to push this pipe as close to the frame rail as possible, because it is literally in the way of the radiator mounting point. So if it's in the way of the radiator mounting point, it is definitely going to be in the way of the radiator fan. So I have room to move this over as close to the rail as possible, and then I'm going to cut and add according to where the charge pipe sits. But everything here is fully bolted up. I'm not going to worry about the downpipe dump tube until I figure out the intercooler. And not sure what time it is. 8:44, so I got about 1 hour and 20 to do all my cuts now before 10 o'clock. And yeah, slowly but surely. From the intercooler, straight U around into the turbo. So this is all good and dandy. This one over here, this pipe is in the cup 1.5 inches. You can see it's about this much, so maybe 2 inch. So this is enough to clamp. This one right here is all the way up to over here, so that's about almost 2 inches of clamping surface. So that comes around to like a, not even a 40. I don't know what angle this is, but there's 2 of them. And then it comes to this pie cut, which is a 10 and 15 on one side. That goes to the intercooler like that. This is all scrap material from the bin. It's like $9.40 right now, and I'm done with the chop saw, the grinder, the sawzall, cutting out the frame. I got clearance to the radiator now and clearance to the frame rail. That's golden. So now what I'm going to do is try to button up everything else. The turbo's practically done. Once I close the garage, I'm going to start welding these guys up. They're already marked, so I know where they're supposed to be angled at. And I'm going to start cleaning up and then continue I realized I forgot that hole right there, so I'm gonna have to just kind of get a square patch, patch that up, and then I'm gonna switch tungstens and do all the aluminum pipings before I put it on the intercooler. These are all grinded. That one is grind, and I forgot there was no O2 sensor, and if I run the P75 it's going to throw check engine for O2. So here's the O2 from the car, and this is going to go under the car, but I have to cut right there about 2 inches, and then this end right here is going to be about 2 inches away from the flange to the cat. That'll do the job. So if you guys are ever wondering why when I start my video and then like several clips later it becomes dark, it's because I start my videos later in the day. I kind of messed up my sleeping habits, so I sleep late and then I wake up late, like 10 o'clock. And then I'm in my room, I'm on my computer, do my morning duties before I come into the garage. So right now it is 1 o'clock, and it gets dark at 5. So today I'm gonna button up the car. So I got the charge pipe right here extended to a 90 instead of a short straight right there. So this is tucked close to the frame rail. I trimmed it a little bit more last night and extended all the way to the 90 cup to the charge pipe. So had a lot of issues with contamination and the fact that these pipes were actually coated, but thanks to the Harbor Freight wire wheel, it took that coating right off, so I was able to lay clean beads. See, before I was welding like that, you can see how it's patchy. Same goes for right here. And then this is the new one, the second time around welding this intercooler. So that's all set and done. And now I'm going to install that on the car and then button up the rest of the turbo kit. Got the intercooler all bolted up. Charge pipe are all connected. They're all tightened down. This one's at a weird angle because of the angle of this charge pipe. And this is steel. It's not aluminum, so I'm just going to leave it at that. That's all tightened down, so it's official. The intercooler and turbo and stuff are permanently in place. Now I just gotta extend the downpipe with the O2 sensor. Gotta cut off about 2 inches and then weld it up so I can bolt it up before the radiator and then fluids. Sorry I didn't give you guys any welding action, but I just got the extended part of the downpipe welded on. Getting a little bit better. My problem is I like welding older dirty ass material, but we have an O2 bung on here now, and I don't think I'm going to be adding a flange to this. I'm gonna let him take care of that, but at least I can put the O2 sensor on, so when I use the ECU it won't throw a check engine light for it. But my welding is getting a tad bit better. I haven't even used the glass 10 cup yet, because, you know, dirty material. I didn't want to. Anyways, I'm gonna get this installed and then I can finally put the radiator and everything else to button up the car, because I do plan on turning the car on today and you know, getting it on out of here hopefully soon. But
hey, what's up, y'all?
Kid Curry in the building. This guy right here, I got the video on my YouTube channel from 2012. I'll put the link in the top. 21st birthday when he was getting hyphy. Oh. Yeah, you remember that shit, bro. So I just did an overlook on everything. Double checked every you know, lines and vacuums and such. So I just made a custom little bracket for the feed line to keep it from touching the timing belt because I couldn't find my box of that thing. But yeah, I checked all the fuses, make sure it's all good, and I'm gonna have him prime it so I can make sure there's no fuel leaks whatsoever, and attempt to fire it. So put it in the on position. One more time. No fuel leak. This is still on the stock ECU. This is the P06, so hopefully it's gonna fire it. I don't know, but quickly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have him quickly prime it so that we can get some oil pressure going through the lines and stuff, so we're not running it dry. Do a quick crank, like twice. One more time. One more time like that. Fuck it, hit it. Crank it, turn it over. Give it some gas. Oh yeah. You guys ever wonder what that popcorn noise is? That popcorn noise is the sound of good compression. Hey, come on here real quick, check it out. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready. It sounds good. We are idling pretty good. There's no check engine lights. It's about 1100. All right, now it's time to button everything up. Well, there you have it, guys. Everything is all set and done with this car now. I drove it around without the charge pipe. I had it like this with the P75 OBD1 LS ECU. The car drives fine, but obviously the map and everything is not correct for this. I still got to wire up the single wire for the VTEC because we're going to eliminate O2 sensor, knock sensor, and the VTEC pressure switch. So technically I just need one for the VTEC to work when the ECU goes in for a VTEC base map or a tune map for that matter. And as of right now, the car is running and driving. The whole car is buttoned up, oil is topped off, coolant is bled out, and he should be here to pick up the car in a few. There's still a few things he has to do, like install the fuel pump, and injectors and stuff will be done at the dyno. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys, because I think I've already got enough for this video alone. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to see this car in the dyno and make some decent power. I know the wastegate only has like 3 pounds in there, but you know, nothing a boost controller can't fix, right? So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for future dyno video and maybe street pulls of this car, because he's addicted to street racing. So we'll get some footages of that when time comes around. I know for sure he's trying to go to the track on January 7th, so it will be soon that this car will be tuned. Currently is on open exhaust, but it's going to have full 2.5 all the way back to a vibrant box, so you know, we're looking forward to that as well. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. No, sound like butter.